sexual orientation, sex, LGBT? Do you want them to be
generally? And anytime we're talking about orientation, we're talking about sex. Those conversations don't happen until like maybe late middle school, high school. To be honest,
wrong. These conversations.
You can't talk about religion. You can't talk about religion.
They're gearing these conversations towards. They're gearing these conversations. That's a good point, Jesse. They're gearing these conversations towards elementary school children, and that's what I'm not saying don't have the conversation. Look, I think in high school everything should be fair game. Y'all should be able to talk to it. But when we talk about the basics, why are we having a sex? Like, why?
I don't know. It's been a while. I don't know how. So, how are they breaking down traditionally? How are they breaking down?
These kids
are they breaking down heterosexual relationships?
Listen,
they're not.
They're not.
That would be my question.
Hold on. Go ahead.
I feel like, okay, so let's just say they don't talk about a person's sex, male or female, and from pre-K all the way up to like middle school or whatever. Let's just say that they don't, because of some rules it is regulated, like you have to go to the parent. But what they do, what schools are doing now is, and not even schools, but what society is doing now is they're trying to milk the situation into conversation. So instead of talking about being gay, what we're going to do is create a movie primarily for children
to indoctrinate you
what it looks like, to show you what it looks like. In other words, what they would describe as to be who you really are, to be your true self. And that is the message that I feel like is being promoted for the LGBTQ, as if everybody, not even everybody, but as if you don't have the conversation about being gay or possibly or whatever, then it's not embracing your true self. Like in elementary, for an example, in preschool, there was this whole debate about this little boy who took a picture in a tutu, 3 years old, tutu with a little fairy thing, and the parents were upset. But the classroom told the parent that was the outfit he chose, and we're letting the children be who they truly are. But at 1, 2, and 3 years old, it is our job as adults to teach children who they really are, which is what they were born into in this world. Unless there are some genetics or some things that may be off or whatever, like TJ was.
Sexual orientation, sex, LGBT. Do you want them to be
generally?
Hey, welcome to the Soapboxx Podcast. I am your host, TJ Legacy. What's going on, Soapboxx Nation? We are here. We are live. Appreciate you all for joining us. Let's get started. All the way from up north, Lady of the North. What's going on, Jesse? How you doing?
What's poppin'? I'm doing well, enjoying this Thursday. Tomorrow's Friday. I'm going to Florida on Saturday, so I'm coolin', feeling good.
Words. Get some fun in the sun. Does your shirt say Thug Life?
No, it doesn't. I don't even know what it says, but it doesn't say Thug Life.
This is July. Live life. Live life. Okay, she's living her best life. Bet. Yes, and all the way from Jersey, NYC. My main man, a little under the weather, but this is his flu game, like Jordan. Flu game. What's going on, Allen York?
We're bringing out the big bottles of Simply. I'm saying big bottles of Simply tonight. Vitamin C. I should be good in 24 to 48 hours. So I will be feeling marvelous. I'm gonna speak that. TJ, how you feeling, man?
Yo, I'm a little down this week. There's been some stories. I know you guys have been listening in the gossip chats. So later on today, I think I have to do something that I've never wanted to do on this podcast, but I must address some things and some rumors and put some things to bed. But hey, as always, Soapboxx Nation, please make sure you follow us on all of our streaming services. Soapboxx Nation, at Soapboxx Nation with 2X. Follow us. Make sure Spotify, Stitcher, all that good stuff. We're all of your streaming services. We definitely appreciate you all. And for those who are on our YouTube channel, make sure you click the link. Click the link in the description. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're growing organically, and we are, we're off and running. So let's get it started. Just say,
what's poppin'?
What's I was gonna say, what is poppin'? No, what's poppin'? What is poppin'? No, what's poppin'? Just say.
What's poppin'? So Naomi Osaka, who is a tennis player, I hope I said her name right because I be messing up people's names. But, she
with the fake wedding.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay. I know.
That's my fault. That's my fault.
Think about Florida. My bad. Yeah, so let's talk about this fake wedding. So, homegirl went and did a whole wedding with her fiance, fake bridesmaids, all of that. And her ex-boyfriend, she did this on purpose because she had an ex-boyfriend who was a little crazy or very crazy, right? She said he was abusive and he used to stalk her. So she basically did this wedding so he could lay off. So she did that after she did the wedding that he was still trying to contact her until he finally gave it up and he moved out of the country. And he was accusing her of cheating, this and that. And she spent a lot of money on this fake wedding. Now, would y'all, I'm gonna ask both of y'all, would y'all go to this extreme to get somebody out of your life?
To have a fake wedding?
Yeah, that you gotta pay for it too. It's real money, real wedding dresses, real everything.
Nah, I think the most guys do is just take pictures of really hot women and just them with their fellas, just not giving a fuck and just get that's how guys heal. That's the toxicity that guys do, initially, and then we go when we deal with I don't know, but Alan, how would you deal with that, man?
Well, I have a question. So, was this all a stunt for the boyfriend to stop reaching out to her, or what was the extent of what she was trying to do?
Yeah, that's what she said. She was not trying to get him jealous or nothing. She just wanted him out of her life because he's crazy.
Because
that's nuts.
I just feel like T-Mobile and Sprint and whatever your phone carrier is has options for that you could probably.
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. I mean, I haven't been stalked, so you may have further insight. But also, if this guy is so crazy that she felt the need to get a fake wedding, I'm not so sure that's going to do the trick. I mean, since when do men care if women are married?
But you know what it is? I think it's more important to point out that the fact that there are some dudes, right? And I told y'all that, when I used to do security, there are some guys that if a woman tells them no, right? If a woman is like, yo, I'm not interested or whatever, they won't respect a woman's word. But if they know that the woman has a dude and the dude's like, yo, this is my lady, they'll be like, oh, all right, cool, that's fair. And that's the problem with that we have in our society and our culture where we just, dudes can't just take a woman's word of not being interested. And women have to really be cognizant of how they reject dudes, right? So on top of that, I segue that because I have a story. Alan, remember I told you I had went on a date with a shorty, right? Yes. And we went to the arcade bar, right?
For the love of TJ, episode 3.
Yeah. So, but it was revealed. So we were playing the video game NBA Jams, and so I was like, the first quarter, we were playing first 2 quarters. And she was up. She was beating me. And then all of a sudden, I just got really good all of a sudden at the game, right? And this is this is an arcade game. So I asked her, I was like, yo, did you let me win? She was like, no, I did, fair and square. I was like, I bet. So I called Al and was like, yo, I felt it in my spirit. So basically, I just found out that she let me win. And her justification, the reason I bring it up, her justification was like, yo, I liked you, and some dudes don't know how to handle rejection. And we talk about, gender roles and masculinity, like that toxic masculinity stuff. So she didn't know. So she was like, yo, let me not hurt this man's feelings because I don't know where this is gonna go. Let me just let him win. Me being a competitive person, I felt it in my spirit, but I'm like, yo, that's BS, yo. But apparently women have to deal with these type of, walking on eggshells. But I've never come on, and she's like, yo, you didn't come off like that type of dude, but it's like you just don't know initially on like a first date or something like that. So
yeah, she assumed your masculinity was a little bit frail. So I asked her, because in my head, the first thing I'm going to do after that is challenge you. Yeah, we got to run it back now. Bring your A game, bring your A thumbs, or whatever the hell you got to bring your A for the NBA jams, and don't take it easy on me. If I lose, let me lose like a man. Don't let me win like a punk.
Yeah, well, we're definitely gonna run it back and have some high stake betting. But it was just, it was crazy. Yo, let's check in with Soapboxx Nation. Tylene, Bad Ty, what's good, man? Appreciate you checking in. What's good, man? What's good, fam? And Bridget comes in saying a fake wedding. Yes, women out here doing fake weddings in order to get rid of dudes instead of, you can't block them anymore because dudes are just still lurking. What else she said? Being unavailable is one. Hold on, that's my public school education. Let me sound it out. Being unavailable is one. But creating a drama and fake feelings. Say being unavailable is one thing, but creating drama and fake feelings is a bad foundation. Okay, I got it. Sorry about that. That was my OCPS education. It says I had to let a lot of men win over time. Y'all are sensitive, man. I didn't know that this is actually a thing. Jesse, have you ever let a guy just win at something, whether it's an argument or something competitive? Just to kind of keep the peace or stay in his good graces?
I've done that like with my son, my young he's a grown-ass man. But I feel like in arguments sometimes, just to like protect your energy and to just like, if like it's not going anywhere, it's not that I win, it's just like, okay, whatever. But sports, hell no, you're going to take this L, period. If I can beat you, then you need to step your game up.
Yeah. Speaking of sports, something happened. All right. Something happened this week. And quite frankly, it's just been all over social media. It's just been all over. Like, people just can't stop talking about it. And so apparently we have to acknowledge it, because if I don't, it will basically be a riot on this show. So producer, let's take it to the clip.
The series is tied at 1 game apiece. Knicks get their first playoff victory in 8 years. And the Hawks will.
Yes. Okay.
Yo, the New York Knicks. We got 2 Knicks fans on the podcast. I would be remiss if I didn't talk about this topic. The New York Knicks, after how long did he say? How long did it take, Alan?
8 years.
Mm-hmm. 2013.
Man, they finally won a playoff game off the back of D Rose, Julius Randle, who just became the most improved player in the NBA. Yo, Knicks fans, how y'all feel? Let me remove myself from this thread. I'm just going to let you.
Listen, all I'm going to say is, I told y'all, okay? When was it? Last year we did the podcast, right? And this question came up, and I said that the Knicks was going to make it. And not you, Alan, but y'all laughed at me. Now look. What do you got to say now, TJ? Alan, go ahead.
Listen, man, I'm still focused on the semi-prize. We still got 3 left. I do feel like Atlanta is a team that we can definitely take. So, 1 down, 3 to go. I felt like I could hear the Garden from my house. Like, I felt like the floor was shaking in the whole tri-state area. So, we definitely work hard. We deserve this. But 3 more. And I think we'll at least have 1 more game back at MSG. So, we got to close these boys out.
Yes.
Well, congratulations to you all. The Los Angeles Lakers play this evening. You guys can double screen that. You could listen to the Soapboxx and put the LA Laker game on mute at the same time. It's all good. But basketball's better when the Knicks are winning, and the Knicks are. I wouldn't say that the Knicks are back, but I like their trajectory. I still don't like their owner and some of the things that are going on. And we'll talk about some other things that happened at the Knicks game this week. But before we do that, my only request as we move forward, Alan, we're gonna save the Miss Legacy story for the end of Celebrity Selfie, but we will start with Celebrity Selfie right now. All right, let's hit it. All right, Celebrity Selfie in the mix. Let's check in with Soapboxx Nation. Yeah, they say, see, everybody knows what time it is. Bad time know what time it is. It's Laker Nation, baby. Look, we're not concerned. It is what it is. Shout out to Lisa checking in. Thank you so much, Lisa, for tuning in to the Soapboxx Podcast. Let's hit it. Celebrity Selfie, what you got for me, Jesse or Alan?
Yes, so Naomi Osaka, the story that I opened up the show with by accident, she is actually going to ditch the media. She said that she feels like the media, they don't do a good job at caring enough about the players' mental health. So she has decided that she will not do any interviews, any press conferences. She's aware that she's going to be fined because apparently if you don't talk to the media during these games, you do get fined. And she's aware of that. She's hoping that money will go to charity. She is not the first person who has done this. I believe one of the Williams sisters also did it. She got a $5,000 fine. So, I say protect your mental health at all costs. So go her.
All right, what do you think about that,
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this is becoming an increasing thing. I know that it kind of started with, remember, Marshawn Lynch saying, I'm just here so I don't get fined. I'm just here, so I don't get fined. And then you have even like Kyrie took a stand earlier in the season. He was like, listen, I'm just not going to talk to the media. And so that kind of ran for a little bit while. And he was saying, if you're going to fine me, just kind of pump it into, underdeserving communities. So, I mean, it's a tricky thing. Depending on who you ask. Of course, as a human, you want everyone to protect their mental as much as possible. Some people are under the impression that, this is your job, this is a part of the job, and you should be fulfilling your obligations. But at the end of the day, if you are a player or someone extremely valuable to the league, you know that the recourse for it is only going to be but so much. And if it's just going to be monetary, and if that is going to be something that alleviates your stress, then the monetary loss may be worth it. What about you, TJ?
No, I agree with protecting your mental health, and if athletes feel like they are, sometimes these media people are bombarding people with questions, and sometimes they're not even good questions that they're asking these athletes. And I think most times athletes want to talk about other things. And you're right, Kyrie has kind of been the modern day poster child for that. Like, hey, this is just a game. There's other things going on in the world. Let's talk about that. But I will say this: there is a part of me as a journalist that says, if you don't think like the role of media is important, right? There are questions that, and there's whole industries, sports media, ESPN, Fox Sports 1. If we didn't have journalists and media asking athletes questions and getting their take and doing the post-game stuff, sports would be boring. It would be completely different as far to the consumer. So I get wanting to protect your mental health. However, I wish that she would do it on a case-by-case basis, right? Rather than just doing a blanket statement like, all of y'all in the media, I'm not going to speak with you at this event, rather than, hey, I'm just going to take a few questions because I'm not really feeling up to par, whatever, and, just moving forward that way. So I wouldn't necessarily put everybody in the same boat. So, but what we got next, man?
So Howard University, first and foremost, we do want to rest in peace to our man, Chadwick Boseman. Rest in peace, brother. So his alma mater, Howard University, decided to honor him. They're going to rename the College of Fine Arts after him. So Chadwick, who was a proud alumni of Howard University, they have a rich history of pretty much every single professional realm with Black graduates. And he was one of their loudest and most proud ambassadors. So, in his passing, they are deciding to honor him by renaming the Fine Arts Center after him. And I think it's a great move. I think that there are very few people who get an honor like this and touch as many people in such a short amount of time as he did. And it's like a lot of times we don't look at actors as people who do that. We look at probably musicians or the people who are directly touching people with their art just because we look at it as more personal. But this is someone who was a student of acting. He was a student of his craft, and the fact that a lot of his roles were biopics, you can really tell that there was a certain level of research and dedication for a lot of these roles that a lot of people can't say that they've delved into. So that's what makes him special. This is a well-deserved honor. So, once again, rest in peace, Chadwick. But shout out to Howard for doing the right thing there.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Howard. Listen, Howard University, I'll say this. Howard University has been doing some amazing things. They just made Felicia Rashad the dean of the Fine Arts Department. And now they're honoring Chadwick Boseman. So they're doing right by our people. They're doing right by the culture. And I will say this. If I didn't attend FAMU, Florida A&M University, my alma mater, HBCU, Howard was on the list. And I definitely would want to attend Howard University. So I've always had a respect for Howard, their law school. But these are the type of things that you want to see. Like that's love right there, to honor Chadwick Boseman and stuff. And this is what you do. This is what we should do to the people who were great. And I want us to get into the culture that we give people the flowers while they're here. But for his untimely death, which nobody knew that was coming, I think this is a great honor. What we got next, sir, ma'am?
Well, unfortunately, this is going to be less of a more serious downer, but some personal TJ news here that has been deeply affecting him, and also the reason that he brought out the red bottom hat today. So, as some of you may know, if you guys and ladies have been following the podcast, that the wife and or family wife of our captain, TJ, is Tessa Thompson, right? So they've been going through a rocky thing. She's been dating my girlfriend at some point in time, Janelle Monáe. And just a couple of days ago, there was a picture that surfaced with her sharing a little canoodle and a smooch with not only Rita Ora, but the film director, Taika Waititi. So immediately, in the words of Paul Wall, it got the internet going nuts because the streets are saying, this is a little triangle, this is a little, 8-ball corner pocket 3 times. That's what the streets are saying. And, it's been a long week for TJ. So I'm gonna give him the floor. And I want you to bear with him as well.
Listen, I don't have much to say. But there's another piece of the story, because I was hurt by the first triangle story. But then I saw something else where they said on the same day, Tessa was canoodling with this model. I don't know his name.
Hold on. Is this the picture?
Yes, this is the picture of her in the model, eyes closed. Just say, when you kiss a guy with your eyes closed like that, what does that tell you?
First of all, The only person I kiss with my eyes closed is the person I love. Other than that, I'm not kissing. I don't kiss with my eyes open. I just think it's kind of. I mean, who kisses with their eyes open?
Correct.
But wait, though, can we see the first
pictures?
Huh?
We look at these pictures of Tessa Thompson, my Tessa, right? Mm-hmm. And I just don't understand. At first I thought it was a cry for help. It was someone that really needed just needed me, because I have had a crush on Tessa Thompson since I was in high school when Veronica Mars came out. And ever since then, that's been over since 2003, 2004. And ever since then, she has been my celebrity crush. But this is devastating, guys. And for everybody who's watched the Soapboxx Podcast, who's listened to us, that's how. Yes, I think you might be right.
Wait, she's single? She's in a relationship.
I don't know what she's doing, because she's not with me, Jesse. Okay, that's the problem.
Can we see the first picture again?
Do we need to? Is that?
Yes.
If she's single, she's just living her life.
Not that one. The one with Rita Ora and some other guy.
That's the one with the director.
Okay. I was doing some further investigation about the hairstyles and wardrobe, and they do line up. It's the
same thing.
So maybe it's a movie.
Who's making out with two people, 3, 4? There's 3 people on the same day.
Well, I was gonna say the guy's a model, and those pictures were like really HD. That could be for some sort of campaign.
It's not. I did my research. Trust me, it's not. I did my research. So if you guys would just give me some, an opportunity, I have to do something.
Okay.
And,
are you reneging your love?
Guys, I think it's time that I have to address something. So I'm going to remove y'all from the chat. This is something that has been long overdue. Ladies and gentlemen, I have to say goodbye. I have to say goodbye to Tessa. And I can't come up with the words. I am grieving right now. Jesse, Allen, I officially have to let Tessa Thompson go.
Boo.
I can't do it anymore.
But listen though,
it's too much hurt. It's been too much hurt. It's too much pain.
But TJ,
can't do it. Can't do it.
So, in the words of the great scholar Todd Smith, aka LL Cool J, he said, "If his love is real, he got to handle competition." So if your love is real for Tessa, you got to handle competition, my brother.
No,
that's what
listen. And this is what's wrong. This is what's wrong. This is what's wrong with the dating ecosystem, fellas. You don't have to handle shit. Okay, let me get real. Okay, you don't have to handle that damn thing. What you need to do is, if she wants to be out there, right? See, I'm in a space in my life where I'm ready for certain things, okay? If she wants to be out there, then let her be out there. This ain't no fairy tale movie, whatever. Like, let her go, fellas. Let her go be in the streets, okay? Let her do that. Okay. But when she's ready to come back home, that's when we'll have the conversation. But as of right now, I can't. It's like, what do you want me to do? There's Janelle Monáe. You're kissing up on white models. You're making out with the director and his girlfriend, and there's just all sorts of it's just too much, fellas. I know my worth, okay, guys, and you don't have to deal with that, King. You don't have to deal with that. And you know who I blame? I blame people like
tabloids.
No, I blame people like Just Say, who tell women that they can just do whatever the hell they want to do.
First of all,
she's living her best life. Living her best life. Yes.
I say do whatever it is that you want to do, but I still say be respectful. You know, if you got a good man on your hands, don't do nothing to F it up. But, you know, if he ain't treating you right and you want to do what you want, do what you want, period. Why not? He's doing what he wants, so why can't she do what she wants?
Listen, I'm here making myself a better man every day. And so I know people are like, wow, TJ, y'all broke up. And it's like, yes, we are breaking up. But, you know, breakups are tough. This is something. And I know other people are like, whoa, TJ, have you ever met her? No, that's besides the point. I don't need to meet someone for them to be with me. Okay. Like, she don't need to do a fake wedding, right? Girls are doing fake weddings and they're doing this type of crap and they're breaking guys' hearts out here. And King, you don't have to stand for it. So for any guy that is going through this type of trauma, you don't have to deal with it. All right. Mm-hmm. And I would appreciate if we do not bring up her name on this podcast anymore because it's too fresh, and allow me the time to heal and grieve. Just say, do you have anything to say about Tessa and her actions, or any advice for me moving forward?
Do your shit. TJ, you said she can go to the streets, and that if it's meant to be, that she'll return. So if it's meant to be, she'll return. Other than that, live your best life, girl.
She can return, but don't think I'ma just be here when you come back, okay? Exactly. Don't think that I'm just gonna stay here, right, Alan? You got me right, my homeboy, my brethren. Right?
Of course. It's always gonna be different. You know, I gotta ask her, what if she heard about you going on the NBA Jam dates? You feel me? And this is like a little bit of retribution.
That's besides the point, and that's why I say some people lash out. People watch the podcast, things get leaked. It's a misunderstanding. And first of all, someone who's gonna lie to me about beating me in a game, which I still believe is fake news. I believe that I figured the game out and I actually won. That's not a good foundation to start off with lies. You don't want to start that way. So that person has an uphill battle already, because I don't do mistrust and deception. Okay, but hopefully Tessa, the cry for help, I hear you. But we got the jail. You know what's wrong? Can I just get on my soapbox for just a quick second, y'all? You know what's wrong with you ladies, right? Jesse, you know what's wrong with y'all? Let me go ahead and look at my sinister. You know what's wrong with y'all? We got the J-Los out here that immediately when y'all got these just situationships all everywhere. Y'all don't clean your house, okay? You don't clean your house before you invite other people into your mix. You got side dude, you got the landscaper, you got the pool boy, y'all got the dudes in like it's just you don't clean your house, okay? And you're missing out on good men out here. You see what I'm saying? You're missing out on good, as the Godfather and preacher Kevin Samuels will say, you're missing out on the high value man, okay? Such as myself and being Dapper Dare over here, you know? And that's the problem. J-Lo out here with Ben Affleck talking about canoodling. She's got the sex hair. The paparazzi is just clipping, snapping pictures. What's wrong with y'all? What is... But all the while, Cardi
something has to be wrong with her.
Cardi B's married. Meg Thee Stallion got a boyfriend. Jessie got a baby on her arm. But the message that they are putting out there for the ecosystem for good brothers like me is, girl, go ahead and do what you want to do.
No, excuse me, TJ.
I'm not going to stand for it anymore.
You are absolutely wrong. All right, let me just say something real quick. Yes, go do whatever it is that you want to do. But if you have a good man, treat him right. If he's treating you right, then treat him right.
So why is she treating me right? Why is she not treating me right, Jesse? Why is she not treating me right? Why is she not treating me right? She knows I have internet. I have Wi-Fi. I can see what she's doing. Why is she not treating me right, Jesse? What's wrong with me?
Maybe you're not treating her right. And she got to go look for it somewhere else.
You play one video game with somebody else, Alan. You play one video game, and all of a sudden things just, you know what? You might be right, man, because none of this happened before I went and played that video game, but it's okay. I'm growing.
Nothing. Tit for tat.
Yo, for real, y'all just so combative, man. So combative. I don't know what's wrong with y'all ladies, but let's get into the topic of the podcast of what we were going to talk. We're going to put that to bed, and hopefully Tessa comes to her senses and realizes who she has. But listen, there's been a trend going on in just lately. There's just been this trend going on where there's just been a lot of, we've been talking about gender roles, right? Because we've seen a trend lately of women proposing to men, right? And it's been all over the internet. And I have a few clips, and I want to get Jesse's response to the women proposing to their kings and getting on one knee. Okay, there it is. And Jesse, do you condone women proposing to men?
Listen, that's the definition. If you want something yourself, go get it, okay? And she want to be married. She want to be a wife. So she's asking her man, I want you to be my husband. I want to be your wife. Why not? I think that's perfectly fine. Me, now would I do it? Absolutely not. You.
Why not? Why not? Why are you better than these women, Jesse?
I never said I was better. I'm saying my preference is I prefer to be proposed to. I don't know. I feel like, no, that's what I want you to get down on one knee and propose to me. I'm not about to do that. But I say more power to women who can do that and who do that. I don't think there's anything wrong with it at all.
Do you think that, and we got King George checking in on YouTube saying boo. Don't you boo true love, okay? Why would you boo a woman who is getting on her knees to prepare to confess her love to this man? Why would, and I don't understand just saying these double standards. You see what I'm saying? I got a real bone to pick with Jesse today. Okay.
First of all, listen, I mean, just people are just weird. But I don't know. There's so much you could say about this topic. Like,
that's why we here.
Yes, I mean, I feel like, okay, there's like so many different perspectives because like if you look at it like in a negative side, right, like the bad side, I feel like it's another way to make men less masculine, because I don't want to say that way. You know what I'm saying?
To emasculate men? You think that's emasculating?
Like, yes, I feel like because there's so much like that's been going on for a while, like even in the media with like men dressing as women and like how everything is like, you know, I'm not going to talk no more about this topic because I feel like I'm going to just say something very controversial. So I'm just going to shut up.
We're on the soapbox. We are controversial. Fuck all that. Listen, I'm sorry. Your baby's hearing me curse.
No, it's just,
I just cursed with a baby. She's holding a baby. I'm just cursing in front of a woman and a baby. Can't get no more controversy. We are the most infamous podcast on all streaming services. Okay? Speak your truth.
I'm just saying, it's like, even like when you watch like movies today, right? They're making a black man so that like they're emasculating him in a lot of different ways. So I just feel like this is just another way to like do that. Like, and I'm not saying that that's what was happening, you know, in this situation, but I feel like it might be more of a trend. That's how that's I don't know. It's so weird. I don't know.
But the thing is that we have these images. You talked about images, right? You talked about men being emasculated, but Alan, we have these images as well of people talking like, you know, women are being more empowered to make their own decisions. As far as women are in the workforce, they're talking about equality, right? So this is something that the institution of marriage is something that is traditional, but who says now that you can't have these, you know, traditional? If a woman proposed to you, Alan, how would you perceive it? How would you receive it?
I don't think that there's any universe in which a woman who knows me well enough to be in a relationship with me would propose to me. And I'm not saying that I'm against it. I'm just saying like my personality and the conversations that I have with women in regards to marriage, like it is kind of expressed that for me personally, it would be really cool one day for me to like get on one knee, propose to someone, have their whole family involved. So anyone who's dealing with me would know not to even try to beat me to that. So, you know, like I said, I don't see a universe in which that would happen. So,
is it a case by case basis, or is it just basically like, or is it basic? So what is it? So, because here I got another clip I want to show y'all, and now I want to discuss it.
Oh my god!
The reaction. Just look at.
I don't. Nothing about that one looked real to me, to be honest with you.
No, I feel like that was just his personality.
Yeah, exactly, and that's my point about the case-by-case basis. That dude had moist beta male energy all over that shit, right? It seemed like he into a little, you know, little ass play. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, to each his own. You can do what you want to do. We are the most infamous podcast on all streaming services. Follow us, Soapboxx Podcast with 2X. Pause. Listen, but I think it is case by case. Like, you got to know who you're dealing with. Just like women, you know who. Like, there are some women that can get jealous because they're like, look, I know that my dude will probably step out. So let me go ahead and be extra hypersensitive to women flirting with him or him flirting with or talking to other women, right? Is it in the same breath? You feel?
I mean, in a broader sense, maybe, but it's just I do understand what you're saying in regards to it is on a case by case basis. Like for me, and looking at the first clip, it seemed like a lot went into coordinating this. Like it looked like she had the whole family involved, the friends involved, XYZ. I think if you're having that amount of people and assuming you're like maybe asking them their permission, I think if it would have been a conflict, somebody would have said, yo, this is a terrible idea and you probably shouldn't do this. I would assume, right? But I'm not saying nobody did that, but I'm saying there was enough people in there that she was able to rally the troops. Anything that comes with marriage and proposals and all that, to me, it's all a case by case basis. That's why I never have like a broad opinion about it because everybody's partner is different. Everybody, what people accept is different. What people's roles in relationships are different depending on that specific couple. So I don't think just because it's not for me, it may not be for them.
Yeah, I would not accept. I think if a woman proposes to a man, or if a woman proposed to me, besides somebody,
who comes to their senses. But if there's a woman that proposes to me, that's the end of the relationship. Because I agree with you, Alan. You're just showing me, like, one, if you propose to a man, that's clearly like you, in the back of your mind, you're thinking, hey, if I don't do this, he never will, right? And I think a lot of times you get into these situations where people are, and I used to be one of these people, like, you know, dudes are just in these situations where they're just kind of just shacking up with women, right? There's no marriage, there's no real commitment besides, hey, we boyfriend, girlfriend type of shit. Like, you know, and, you know, some of these dudes is like, what do they call it? There was a term they called them, hobosexuals, where they just need a place, or dudes is just getting with girls because they need a place to stay. Like, I've been down before, and I've stayed in relationships longer than I needed to because, you know, I had no place to go. And when you're seeing the different gender dynamics change and all the gender fluidity, you know, some of these dudes have that beta male energy where this type of stuff is okay, where they don't mind a woman, you know, taking care of them. So my next question to you guys are, you know, would you, in a relationship, and I guess, would you mind, like, just say, could you be in a situation where you make more money, or you're married to someone who you make more money than that individual?
Yes, I've been in that.
Why did you get the Holy Ghost? Like, what?
Nothing.
I've
been in that situation many times. Like, when I date a guy, I don't look at like what his financial status is. If I'm feeling you, if we have a connection, then, you know, that's what it is. I find that's more important to me. I feel like having money, it's an additive. Like, it's an addition. Like, it's not. I mean, I can say now as an adult, it's a little different, because now, like, I want someone who's at least on either the same level as me or is making more. Because I do feel like a man should take care of his lady. And I saw this meme, like, circling around recently that, like, I don't need a man. Like, I don't need a man, but damn, what did it say?
Who said that?
It was a quote. I'm gonna look for it and I'm gonna tell you. But it's basically saying, like, I don't need a man. Like, I don't need you to do it for me, right? But if you can, like, how do I put this? I don't even know how to say what I'm trying to say. Like, you don't need to do nothing for me. Like, I'm not with you for you to take care of me. I'm not with you for you to pay all my bills. I can do that myself. But I'm not gonna be with the nigga who can't do shit for me. Does that make sense?
Got it. So here's my thing: is like we hear this a lot, and we usually hear this a lot with non-white women. We're hearing this, you know, narrative of I don't need a man. Like, why is it such a taboo thing to say you do need a man? Like, I don't think, like, for me, I would say I need a woman. Like, I would love to, you know, like, I want to be married one day. Or I don't want to be no one wants to be by themselves forever. I just went through a breakup, right? Literally 5 minutes ago. So, like, I want to be able to, you know, so for me to be like, yo, I need a woman. Like, I don't walk around with this idea and say, well, I don't need no woman. You know, ain't no woman can, you know, even if we're talking about gender roles, I don't go around saying, oh, I cook for myself. I clean for myself. I got my own money. I don't need no woman. Like, I don't know why women think that is something that's like an endearing thing to say. You see what I'm saying? Like, you know, go ahead.
Because if you tell somebody you need them, you give them so much control. You give them so much control, and now they feel like, oh, I could do this, I could do that because you need me. Like, you need me. So, like, when a girl says, like, I don't need a man, like, no, I do need a man. Like, I could do for myself. Like, everything you could do for me, I could do for me. So I don't need a man. Do I want one? Yes. I feel like,
you think that's true though?
What do you mean?
Like, okay, like now, yeah, but eventually when you're, you know, after 45, is it more of like, oh, because of right now, like, there's always going to be suitors, but eventually that stops with anybody. Everybody has their shelf life. So, you know, you're not going to be like 55 or even 60 or growing your older age and be like, well, I don't need no man. There are things that, you know, I don't know. Am I wrong? Is that archaic for me to think that there are things that men can do and provide that women can't?
But hold on, before we even get to that, I think that the issue that And I think, Jesse, you might have personalized it a little bit more when you're talking about telling a man that you need him. I think we're just more so talking about a broad sense, like needing a partner, right? But I think the issue comes where anytime you're talking about need, people look at that as dependency. And anytime you look at dependency, that kind of potentially bleeds over into settling, dealing with things that you shouldn't deal with. And, you know, believe it or not, a lot of people try to romanticize the previous generation's long marriages, XYZ. But people don't talk about our grandparents, our grandmothers telling the younger generation, don't do the shit that she did because she dealt with too much just for the sake of being a quote-unquote kept woman or being a married woman. So a lot of these women are learning from their elders, and they're passing that game on like, don't settle. You don't need nobody. Of course, you know, and it's just, I think the word need has a negative connotation. But I do think as much and as everyone kind of states that they don't need someone, I think everyone is looking for an ideal partnership. I think just saying they don't need it is kind of like a coping mechanism just to let you know that I'm not desperate.
I don't think it's desperate. I don't think it's desperation. I hear what Jesse's saying. You're like, look, I'm being capable is different. Being a capable person is different than having an independent mindset. I wouldn't want to date or be married or in a relationship with anybody who has an independent mindset. Now, if you're capable of having your own life. You have your own skills. You have your own, you're capable of doing things, of sustaining yourself, right? But if you're trying to, like, the root word of independence is disloyalty. Like, we have the Declaration of Independence in this country because we are like, we are no longer loyal to, the United Kingdom. We're no longer to Great Britain. So we're no longer loyal. That's the root of independence. So when someone is like, even in the dating world, where, even I see this a lot on like dating apps where women will go and say, I got my own everything. I'm an independent woman. I'm outspoken. And it's just like, that's not like where I think most men think, okay, well, if you're independent, you got your own house, you got your own car, you got your own, your own money, your own living situation, you got your whatever. So where do I, as a man, fit into this relationship if a man is raised or on a traditional sense where he's like, look, a man is supposed to be the protector, provider, right? And I think at times women want the traditional loyalty when it comes to relationships and with men, but they want the modern day morality.
No.
Right? Where I feel like they're like, because like Alan was just saying, generation wise, those women, like, they stayed in long relationships, they put up with a lot, and women feel like now it's almost like the culture is, hey, don't tell a woman, you can't tell a woman nothing, right? She can do what she wants, say what she wants, do whatever you got to do, and most dudes and some of these beta males who are being proposed to, they are ornamental, they're not functional, right? So it's more so the woman, and I'm segueing for a purpose. It's the woman is leading the relationship, and somebody had something to say about that. D.Wade actually had some thoughts on who leads the household, whether it's a man or whether it's a woman. Let me get this clip. Here we go.
In relationships, we come in and we try to change people. We try to change them to the way that we want them to be. But I decided to start taking a different approach, in this relationship. I think early on I came in like, hey, you get 2 drink max, bop. And she didn't respond well to that.
No, it did not.
Yeah. It was reasons for that too. Let me say that.
I have a good time. Life of the party right here.
It's not the man leads and the woman follows. That's not what we live in this house, at all. So for me, I have a wife that works not just as hard, harder than I. And she had her own career. She had her own life before I came along. So from my perspective, it was like, okay, how can I be a part of the growth and the evolution of who she is, and not trying to change her or stunt her growth or make her in the way that I see.
All right. So, well, let me address it because Alan said that he thought that Jesse was about to go. Jesse, did you make your point? Did I cut you off? Go ahead.
No, you didn't cut me off. It's just I don't even
disagree with what I said?
Of course I did. I mean, okay. Not let me say of course I did, because you made some valid points. And it's not that I disagree. It's just like, I think for me, it's like I'm personalizing the situation. So I don't agree with like everything you're saying. But I see where you're coming from. But the point, whatever I was gonna go off on you about, you're lucky I forgot.
Oh, so you gonna listen on playback and then text.
Yep, I am.
Who do you think you are? No, but I just think that there are women. I think women want to be empowered, and I think what Dwayne Wade is saying, I don't agree with his notion, because Dwayne Wade is probably one of these males that are out here that are being emasculated almost on a daily basis, and everybody's kind of seen the maturation of Dwayne Wade. So of how he's been in his relationship and how he does things in his household. He's talking all this stuff about, relationships and stuff, but didn't you have a baby out of wedlock while you was with Gabrielle Union? So it's like, shouldn't throw stones in glass houses. So, maybe you shouldn't be the one to be the poster child of what you should do in a household and, who leads and who's not. I think not. You said what?
I said he can't learn from his mistakes and be a better man.
Yeah. Well, it seems like from that mistake, he chose a more subservient role. And I think naturally women want to be led by their men. And I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. I think submission has been such a negative connotation to it in this day and age. And I don't think people understand what submission is. Submission is not, okay, because I can't do for myself. I'm submitting to my mate, my partner, not because I can't, but because I can. But I'm trusting you enough to allow you to lead in this situation. I'm deferring to you, right? Because there's a certain level of trust that you have acquired over the course of our relationship. So that doesn't mean that you got to be in the house barefoot and pregnant and just kind of like, don't do this, don't do that, and having a dude just dictate everything to you. Like it is a partnership, but in any partnership that you ever have, there's a CEO, is there not? Whether it's in a business sense, whether it is a merger, there's always a CEO. There's somebody at the end of the day that makes the final call, right? Yeah. And I honestly believe that it can be interchangeable. It can be interchangeable. There's some times where the dude needs to be like, you know what? Okay, you got it. And in a relationship, there's compromise and you pick your battles. But at the end of the day, at the core of relationships, women don't. And tell me if I'm wrong. Just saying, women don't want to be telling a dude, okay, this is what we gonna do. Well, you hear this on dates, right? Women like, yo, I like a guy who's more assertive, who plans things out, who takes the initiative. Like, these are all, I believe, masculine traits, and women are attracted to masculine energy. Most women, right? So, but you don't want to do that. You got to lead and drag along, because I would think that becomes exhausting. What do you think? What say you?
But none of that.
Just say.
No, I agree with you. I want a man to lead me, but then also when you was talking about submission, you also have to keep in mind it's submit to your husband, not submit to your boyfriend.
Facts.
Not submit to the guy you're talking to. Submit to your husband. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like a lot of these guys want you to submit to them. And what are you like? Is there a ring on my finger? Are you planning to put a ring on my finger, or like what's going on here that you expect me to submit to you? You know what I'm saying? But I definitely feel like a man should lead a woman. I mean, that's how I think. That's what I want. I want a man to lead me.
But is there a way? Because I hear that a lot of like women like, well, there's a TikTok or a Reels that they say, they're like, oh, did you cook me some food? And the girl goes, did you put a ring on my finger? Yes. But it's like, at what point, right? Because when we're talking about marriage and being engaged and stuff, at what point don't you have to show those traits prior to marriage? So a guy would be like, yo, I can see myself with this individual. Like, you don't get married and then all of a sudden you flick the wife switch or the husband switch, right? And it works both ways. Exactly. You see those traits prior to getting into and making those commitments. And then you're like, you know what? because it's all work. So you're like, okay, I can, in this partnership, I can work with this individual and we can work together in order to build a more perfect union, right? But I think nowadays it's like the culture in the ecosystem is he got to chase me. He got to wine and dine me, take me out places. Let's go on trips. You got to do all these husband-like things in order to pursue women and for her to know that you're interested. And then it's like, oh, there's other dudes that could potentially be pursuing me. So you better put a ring on it, right? And then once you put a ring on it, then all this, you'll just like a cheat code. Then you'll go ahead and you'll unlock all these wifey privileges, right?
There's levels.
Correct. I agree. Alan, what say you?
I mean, I think we like drifted way off because what Dwayne Wade, what Dwayne Wade was talking about was what works in his household. Like he said, I tried to be this type of man. She did not respond well to that. So in our household, it has formed more like a partnership. But you would have said, I think the end goal is the same thing. It's about partnership. I don't think what he was saying has anything to do with him not leading, about him not putting his foot down, about her dragging him along. He was just saying, listen, she doesn't respond well to this type of leadership. So I don't do that anymore because it doesn't work in my household, right? So I don't think anything that he was saying had anything to do with maybe taking a backseat in regards to the household or even a leader, or just the way that he communicates with her. And then you also have to think as well, when they got together, Gabrielle Union was 40 years old and had been a superstar for 20 years. And Dwayne Wade is almost 10 years her junior. So I can definitely imagine her being like, yo, this is not how it's going to work. Like, I was my own woman before we got together. Yes, we are going to be in a relationship. We're going to be in a partnership. But there's certain things I'm not going to tolerate because I know who I am. And I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. Or do I think that it is taking anything away from Dwayne? I just think he's figuring out what's the best way to lead his household with the partner that he chose.
No, I don't think that and I think when you're talking about partnership and the things that Dwayne Wade and his dynamics of his, all of these things, and I think King George brought it up in our YouTube comments, and thank you for tuning in about leaders lead, right? Regardless of gender or of your gender identity, right? And let me get on the men. There's a lot of beta males, right, who are masquerading in relationships as if they're alphas, and they're really not, right? So there's a difference, right? And I've said this before on the podcast, so I'll say it again. Like, there is a difference between there's two types of men in this world. There are builders, and then there are babblers, right? So if you're a man and you are trying to court a woman or be with a woman, and you may not be where you are, whether it's financially, whether it's emotionally, whether it's spiritually, whatever, in order to cultivate this relationship, right? You at least have a plan. You see what I'm saying? You have a plan of how you're going to get there, right? But I think the thing is that a lot of times women fall into the babblers who have this good game of being able to sweet talk and paint these wonderful pictures of what life is going to be when you're with me, what life is going to be at the end of the day. But the longevity of it, they don't have a track record of really building shit, or really not even building anything financially, but building themselves. Like, you don't see any personal growth. And so when you don't see any personal growth, and you're just a dude that's out here just talking, and then you're asking a woman to submit to you, then lies the problem. Because then she's like, yo, why should I submit to you? And I think that's what you were saying, just it's like, yo, why should I submit to you? You're not really you're not really about your stuff. Like, I'm not going to let you be the man to handle the finances. If you go and take the money and blow it on, on bullshit, and we got mortgage or rent or bills to pay, like, you got to be on your stuff. Like, you can't be, and I think it's very important. Like, you can't be on your fucking Xbox all damn day And then when the woman gets home, like you just all of a sudden you thumping your chest, you Mr. Macho because you think that you're supposed to be the king of the castle. I don't think it works like that. And I think women, when they look at shit like that, they're like, yo, I'm not, you can't submit to that dude. You see what I'm saying?
But you know what I'll also say about, I'll give the women credit too as well, because you were talking about, builders and babblers, and even the builders, sometimes they may be starting at ground zero.
Yeah.
But the babblers, they're also starting at ground zero too. And the only difference is the plan. I'm gonna tell you one thing. A lot of people who's laying out the prettiest plans are the babblers. So I can understand.
That's why you got to watch the actions. So the builder is always like, you can say a lot of things, right?
But that's what I'm saying. If you guys are
trust somebody by their actions.
But if both of them are starting at the same place, right? I can understand a woman saying, I don't know which one you're gonna be, so I'm not really gonna deal with you because you could talk a good game.
I don't agree. And here's why. Because if you're a builder and you're a natural builder and you're as a man, there is something about you. One, you carry yourself in a certain way. And there's also, you have a track record. That's why people, when we talk about relationships and people who jump into, like, I used to be one of these quick people, like, I love hard and stuff like that. But there's the times you got to when you get to know someone during the talking or the courting stage, you're supposed to figure out, like, yo, where did you come from? What is your pathway? What made you, right? And if by getting to know someone, they're like, yo, I went through this, but this is who I am now. This is where I'm at. This is where my starting point was. Then a woman during dating will be like, oh, okay, I see there's a track record of some sort of progress and growth, right? But if you a dude that's like, yo, one day I'm just, we just gonna be rich and we just gonna get this thing popping. Okay, well, what have you gotten popping since? Well, things are just looking up. Things are looking up. Things are gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? Things are gonna happen. So what's good with you, shorty? What's up? Like that's what they do. You see what I'm saying? Like, but King George had a question. He said, should beta males be alone? And my answer is yes.
Can y'all break down to me this whole like beta alpha thing that I want to hear both of y'all.
At the end of the day, to me, a beta male is just somebody that's just not on their game. Just someone that's just not on their shit. Someone who's just very subservient, a whiny dude. Someone that doesn't have, that's not in control of their emotions. Not drinking and lighting candles for for celebrity crushes. I'm just joking, but and he says basically you're a pushover. You're a simp. You're somebody who you think that using your financial gain, agreeing with women all the time, not being able to be, you don't stand for nothing, right? A lot of times these dudes, they may, whether they look good or whatever, they may be aesthetically pleasing, but they don't stand for nothing. And this is something, women do this too, right? Like, there's a lot, like I just said, you talked about women on IG and body image and those type of situations and on what they're projecting. But when it comes to actual substance, right? Am I wrong or am I right in this? Did she freeze? Jesse, you hear me?
When it comes to substance, what? A lot of them have things going for themselves. What do you mean?
Yeah, but I'm saying, but like tangible things, like you can have like money, you can have financial things. Like money doesn't make you an alpha male, right? You can be an alpha male and just be a shitty ass person, right? And so you can be an Instagram model and you can have different opportunities and you can have a successful career, but that doesn't necessarily mean that makes you wife material, right? And that's the same thing when it comes to these beta males, right? Or you can just even use the term simp. Like it's all based upon your track record and it's based upon the energy that you're giving off out here in the ecosystem. You see what I'm saying? If you're just somebody that is, you're, like I said, you're just, you're talking or you're just kind of, not, you're not living up to your potential. And I think for you to be an alpha male, you should want not only the best for yourself, but the best for the people around you. Right. Yeah. And you should want to make like your woman. And when we talk about gender roles in relationship, who you're with automatically influence. You know, ever hear that saying, "Oh, show me who your friends are, and I'll show you where you're going." It like whoever you're with is a reflection of you. So that's probably the biggest thing that you can, for those who are like, well, how can I tell the difference or differentiate? If the person you're with is not making you better, right? Then why the fuck are you with them? Like, it's real talk. Like, if they're not, like, let's be real. If they're not making you better in any aspect of your life and make you an overall better person, or even inspiring you, and this has nothing to do with gender identity. This is men and women. If they're not inspiring you to be a better person than when they found you, then why would you want to be in a partnership with that?
But maybe God put them in your life so you can help them so they can become a better person. You never know. It's different case by case basis.
Go ahead.
No, I'm saying like there's different situations for everybody. So,
but I would say, since you invoke God, I would think that God would want you to live a life and live it more abundantly. And so I don't think God would put somebody in your space or around you to not be equally yoked. And I'm not saying, look, there are people who are down in the dumps. And you're like, look, you know, we talk about the ride or dies, right? Like, yo, he didn't really have nothing. I stuck with him because I saw he was working. I saw his maturation. I saw that he was working 2 jobs, or he was trying out there. He was grinding for something. But God is not going to put anybody in your life that's going to cause you to decrease or diminish your internal light. He's only going to bring somebody, like, he's not, and God is not a God of confusion. So if you have somebody in your life who you're like, all right, it's that wait and see shit. And I think a lot of times in relationships, both men and women, but I see this a lot of women, is that they will use up their younger years, their 20s to 30s, doing the wait and see shit. Oh, he's gonna be something. Just wait and see, like a stock, right? Oh, let me just invest. Oh, he just wait and see. It's gonna come up to something. And it's like, you know, you see this with women who are in relationships with guys who, they're like, someone told me about a guy who has been with this girl for 10 years, but he has not popped the question, right? And it's like, you wasted your whole 20s all the way up into your 30s, and you're shacking up with this dude. He hasn't made an honest woman out of you. It's no sort of like financial things where it's like, well, I don't have the money to buy a ring. I don't have the money. Well, it's very easy to go to the courthouse if you really want to be married. It's not about the actual reception. But if there's not a requirement from the woman to say, hey, this is my standard, this is what I require, then a guy is never going to want to meet those standards. He's going to do the bare minimum. And I don't think any woman wants to be a basic bare minimum bitch. Like, I don't think anybody wants to just be that. You see what I'm saying? And if you're around a beta male, a beta male is always going to treat the woman who is like, he's just going to do the bare minimum. And if you're a woman, why would you want to be around that? Am I wrong? Like, you don't have to have everything. You don't have to have everything. But I'm off of that. Like, it's 2021. Why are women trying to be with men to be like a Build-A-Bear? No one owes you that shit.
Well, listen. You just said there's builders and there's babblers, but the builders have a certain swag and a certain aura about them that you can feel, and they got a plan. But then now you're saying, nah, why would you want to be with somebody like that?
No, I'm not saying I'm talking about the key component is about the lack of progression, right? That's the key. Like, you don't have to have every shit. I don't have it. There's times I was fucking homeless. I just felt like there's times I didn't have nothing. Like, I literally I was homeless, I was on probation, like, I didn't have shit, right? You know that. But for me, to want to have nothing, not just tangible things, and to want to be the man in a relationship, that shit don't make sense. And we're talking about God. God is not a God of confusion. So you don't have nothing. You're not really building. You're not really working towards. You say you're working to your goals, but you're not really seeing a progression. Well, then, if you're not where you need to be for yourself, then why are you in a relationship?
But you just said the builder sometimes is not where they want to be, but they have a plan.
But you're missing the point. You keep missing. I'm talking about the progression of it. Like, if you are not
something that the woman would see him through because he believed. You don't
have to be in a relationship with somebody to see their progression over time. Why do you think, for instance, right? Jesse, forgive me if I'm wrong. Why do you think that when a guy is unsuccessful, right? And this is one of the things, like for instance, when a guy is grinding and doing what he's got to do and he's trying to make something of himself, he's not the most desirable to women. Like, and we talk about it, nobody cares about the labor pains. They just want the fucking baby in the pictures. Right? Like no one wants to go through. It's rare. And if you find someone that wants to go through your daily struggles and stuff like that, that's great. Yes. But I think we go through this, situation. Like you can have, like, you want to love somebody that they love freely. Right? So it's a difference between staying with someone because you see something and you want to invest in them, and then feeling like somebody is obligated to stay with you through your process. And that was one of the biggest pills I had to swallow in my life, is that nobody is obligated to stay with you through your process. It sucks. It's a big, like, man, ain't nobody got, it sucks, but nobody's obligated. But once you become the success that you said you were going to be, you're not obligated to give any of those people who had an opportunity to be with you a chance. In my estimation.
I mean, nobody's obligated to do anything, so I agree there. I definitely don't feel as if nobody, relationship wise, nobody has really any obligations outside of their personal happiness.
Yeah, so nobody's obligated, like you guys say, yes, but I feel like for me, it's like, okay, if I'm with you and you're going through a tough time in your life or whatever, and everybody has their thing that they go through, right? Mm-hmm. For me, it's like I can stick with you through that, but you cannot dwell in that. Like, you have to be doing something to make yourself better. You have to be doing something, and it's the progress. Like, what is that saying? Progress, not perfection. So if you're working towards being a better person and trying to get your shit together, then okay, like I can rock with you. But if you're really not trying to make any progress and you just keep complaining, or you just keep talking about what you're going to do and you're not doing anything to back it up, that's where the problem is for me. Because like I can be with somebody who, like, you lost your job and you're having a hard time, and you can't pay the bills. Okay, all right, I'm gonna hold it down. But you need to be showing me that you're working towards being who you're supposed to be, or being able to provide and take care of us. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But I also think it's a little different, like when you were with the person when they was up and they had the job. And then, of course, you already know who that person was.
It's the same thing.
So you don't think you would approach it differently if, like, you were in a relationship with a person, they had XYZ, and then they lost it, and then they on the way to get it back, as opposed to, and essentially, I think we were just talking about like starting off dating, as opposed to a person who, maybe they lost everything a couple of months ago. So you don't really know that rapport of what they had previously. You just know that they down. You don't think that you would treat those situations differently because you're already in a relationship with someone and you kind of see their peaks and valleys, as opposed to meeting someone and they're at their valley?
If I meet you and that's where you're at and I decide to be with you, then I'm going to stick with you through that. If we're together and something happens and you're, like you said, you was up, now you're down, and you're working towards getting back up there, I'm still gonna rock with you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I don't. But go ahead. No, go ahead, Jesse.
No, I'm saying, like, if you're not doing anything, I feel like that's where it's different. Like, if you're just lollygagging and you're just like, oh, I want to do this, or like, and depression is a thing, it's a thing, and like, I feel like it's okay to like let them have their moments, like and you have to talk to them, and you have to be there for them because you're their person. You know what I'm saying? But after a while, it's like, okay, like, all right, you're depressed. All right, now it's time to get some help. Get some help so you can do what you need to do, so you could be a better person, so you can get your shit together. Now, if they're not trying to do that and you're giving them all your support, after a while, you gotta know when to leave. And sometimes you leaving them, it helps them.
And I will say this: it's like if a man doesn't have his purpose, that's a dangerous dude. If you're a woman, you don't want to be around a dude that don't know his purpose. because he can end up affecting you, your children, your family relationships, everything, all those dynamics. If he's still searching for his damn self, and he don't know who he is, because then we start getting news that's like, okay, I feel less than. I think we talked about this, like I feel less than a man, right? Out because I'm out there in the world and I'm feeling less than a man. So now I'm gonna raise my voice a little louder in this house because damn, I'm with you. So you better respect me because the world don't respect me. Now you in a dangerous, an abusive type of relationship because you feel inadequate. So at the slightest, hey, you want to pick up your clothes? You want to pick up your clothes off the floor? Now all of a sudden it's like on some regular shit. If you a man with your purpose and you got your job and you established, you're like, oh yeah, I got you, sweetie. Okay, oh my fault, my bad. But if you a dude that ain't got no purpose and he's like, yo, can you pick up your stuff? In his mind, it's like, did she just tell me to pick up my shit? In my house, like you view and think things like, yo, is that how you talking to me? Like you can become extremely toxic. Just like if you're dating a woman who's extremely jealous and insecure, like you can't be around somebody like that. And so I think to tie this, in a bow when it comes to gender roles and the different what?
Sorry, my cat just fell off the table. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but it's like you have to understand. Like I don't know, and not to get into spiritual, but like, do y'all believe in like soul ties? Like you got to be careful. You don't?
No.
Yeah. See, I believe in like people's energy, and some people's energy can latch on to you. I'm big on that. If your energy ain't right, like and look, let's talk about it.
I should elaborate. Like if with a significant other and or life partner, yes. But the way people talk about soul ties, as in they just happen from sexual partners, no.
Alan, you would have to have conversations and stay committed to them past like a weekend. So like so you can't get soul ties. The soul be like, oh, what? Somebody else? Oh,
but that's what people were like attaching. They were if you were with someone physically, it's a soul tie. I'm like,
I believe if you have sex with someone, and I especially believe this is when it comes to unprotected sex. When you're having unprotected sex with somebody, y'all bodies are connected, whether you care to agree or not. Your
bodies,
that energy
yes.
is no, I'm telling you, your energy all of a sudden, the energies can transfer. Y'all better not be out here having in this hot girl summer out here sexing all these dudes, and that energy transfer to you.
Okay, and vice versa. Okay, guys, all of
maybe for 48 to 72 hours. That's it. That's all I'm giving it.
What? So 48 to 72.
After that, the soul is gone. I wash that off.
No, yo, you better get yourself some sage. I'll sage my place in a second. Yo, I'm talking about like for instance, like have you heard about not wearing jewelry of like exes, not wearing like those gifts and stuff? Like you're supposed to like get rid of that stuff. Like you can't let those things, linger on in your spot. He said, Keith said that's that STD energy. Yeah. Some of y'all got that energy that needs to be treated. Some of y'all got that energy that y'all need that pill and that shot.
Wow, who knew that STD stood for soul tie? And so
soul tie dick.
Soul tie, that might be the podcast name. That might be the episode. I think we figured it out. You figured it out, yes. And so I agree. Bad tie. He's like, negative and positive energy don't mix. You're right. That's that toxic energy. Shout out to Soapboxx Nation going back and forth. But listen, we got some other time. We're gonna put a pin in this one because we got some other things we want to touch on. I was gonna call it Sounds About White, but I think this is something that's more universal. I want to bring Alan and Jesse to the congregation, to the front of the congregation, to talk to them about their Knickerbockers and how these people in MSG treated Trae Young at the last game of the historic Knicks first playoff win in what? How many years?
8 years.
8 years, okay? Actually, you know what? Let's do it because shit, I didn't did these graphics. We're going to do it. All right. Hey, sounds about it. Let's do it.
I'm about to have a panic attack.
Because education in this country is about white is right, brown's all right, black.
This is our country.
All right. So, at the Knicks game, Trae Young, basically, there's been this thing going on. The NBA is back. There's playoff basketball intensity. However, there's a lot of the fans are back into the arenas. And at the Knicks game, Alan York and Jesse, don't hide now. Alan York and Jesse, and Jesse's Knicks, their fans spit on a player from the crowd. I want you to see this clip.
It was first of all.
I'm gonna play it again. Actually, that's 50 Cent in the front row. Shout out to 50 Cent, and I believe that's his girl at the side. Spits over her shoulder.
Wait, I didn't see that. I don't know what just happened. What am I?
Well, it was there. So basically, the story is that this fan spit on Trae Young, and it was they looked at the tape. It did indeed happen, right? So they ended up banning the fan for life from MSG, right? And not only did that happen, there was a situation in New York, but we also had an incident with Russell Westbrook in Philadelphia, and this happened where Russell Westbrook was injured and he was going back to the tunnel, and some idiot fan decided, I'm just going to pour some popcorn on him.
They were leading him off the floor, and fans come out and cheer, come out and boo, yell all you want. We encourage that. This is just plain stupidity. Somebody pouring some popcorn, and any athlete, being Westbrook or whomever, they are pumped with their adrenaline. He's probably feeling bad. His team may be en route here to losing this game too. Just a stupid thing to do.
They was all snitching. They was all pointing to who did it.
Listen. I'm gonna say this. There is a racial component to this where people view black athletes as subhuman because they just think, oh, you're just there to just entertain us. And we can do and say whatever to you. I think Kyrie Irving even alluded to this with even my Boston, in Boston, the city of Boston. This is what Kyrie Irving said.
I mean, it's not my first time being an opponent in Boston. So, I'm just looking forward to competing with my teammates. And, hopefully we can just keep it strictly basketball. There's no belligerence or any racism going on, subtle racism and people yelling from the crowd. But even if it is, it's part of the nature of the game, and we're just going to focus on what we can control.
Is it something you've experienced in Boston before?
I'm not the only one that could attest to this, but it's just, it won't, it is what it is.
Kyrie didn't want to really say it, but what he was really alluding to was like, look, black athletes, when they go onto the field, they're being called all sorts of niggas, all sorts of cursing at them, saying talks about their family, their mama. I remember one time Boston fans was chanting about Jason Kidd beating his wife in the stands and his child was there. Like, people just think that because they're spectators, they have a right, once they pay their ticket, to say anything and everything. But what people forget is that these are world-class athletes. If those athletes, just like the Malice at the Palace with Ron Artest and Steven Jackson, if they ever get into the stands and get a hold of you, 8 times out of 10, y'all about to lose that fight, right? Shout out to, that's how you said Russell Westbrook forgot he was injured. You damn right he forgot he was injured because it's the principle of it. You got to think back to Jackie Robinson when Jackie Robinson was coming up in MLB, right? And they talked about this in Chadwick Boseman movie, in the movie 42, where he was ridiculed, called the N-word. They didn't want to shower with him. So coming up, people feel like they could just call you the N-word, they could just do whatever to you as a black athlete, and really black people. But it comes to as a black athlete where you are just there to entertain me and I can do whatever to you. So I don't think banning these fans from the stadium is enough. Like, sometimes you just got to give people 5 minutes. Now, I would pay to see that fan in a locker room with Russell Westbrook for 5 minutes. Like, I don't have to ban you. Just, okay, you threw popcorn on him, so Russell now gets 5 minutes with you, or you get banned. You see what I'm saying? So I just think that the players, like, and also spitting on you, throwing popcorn is one thing, that's bad. But if you're spitting on a player, not only that, you should be arrested.
That's assault. I learned that. In criminology. That's assault.
How'd you learn that, Jesse?
In school, in my undergrad.
She's like, I spit on a motherfucker, and then the cops had to tell me that.
I learned from a very young age that spitting is like the ultimate disrespect. I've never spit on anybody my entire life. I'm sorry, that's nasty. That's like on a whole nother level of disrespect, and it's assault. You can literally get arrested for it.
Yeah. So that fan who spit on Trae Young needs to be banned from the arena, but he also needs to be arrested. And I don't know if y'all saw in the video 50 Cent's girl or his lady friend. I don't want to make assumptions, but I'm thinking if you're 50 Cent and you're taking someone courtside to a playoff game, they better be a girl. At least
they're like engaged, man. That's his girl.
Okay, that is his girl. Yeah. Okay, straight up, yeah. Because I'm not taking nobody courtside in a playoff game and we just talking. That's not gonna happen. But yeah, these fans, I think it's getting out of line, and I think because of the NBA, it's different from most other sports because you're right there, like you're paying for that courtside access, and these players can actually hear you, but no one deserves to be abused. And if these athletes, if they were to go, athletes get fined. They get fined. They get penalized for even talking the same stuff back to fans, right? So I think that there needs to be more severe punishment. They need to start being charged. Like, you shouldn't be able to, and you see it, and I noticed this too. You see this a lot I almost got my Facebook banned this week because there was a, off topic, but there was a, Ron DeSantis decided to eliminate unemployment. He's going to cap unemployment. He wants you to have the job search for on June 26th. But he also he's going to deny federal funding as of June 26th, right? And so you had a lot of people in the comment sections, it's mostly poor white folks, in the comment sections like, yeah, get a job. So I have to remind some people like, yo, you are poor. And I know you're poor because I'm looking at your pictures. You are poor, but yet still you care about what's going on in somebody else's pocket watching because you want to align yourself with white supremacy. Well, apparently, my comments were a little too harsh. They started, doing a little shadow banning, reporting me and stuff like that. So I had to leave the little chat because I was like, look, I got a podcast. I need my social media. I can't be out here getting flagged. But a lot of these people think that when you can't be touched by these players, and this is why I brought that up, and a lot of these media outlets, they allow these people to just say a whole bunch of racist and just derogatory things to people, and people think that they can say whatever in the social media age, and there's just no consequences to the shit. So I don't know about y'all. What do y'all think? But I want to hear from the Knicks fans. What do y'all think about that Knicks fan spitting on the star player from the Atlanta Hawks? Should y'all forfeit a game for that?
No.
In good faith and sportsmanship?
No.
Alan?
Okay.
Go ahead.
No. I was just saying that it wasn't. That was misrepresented at the top of the segment. It wasn't Knicks fans, plural. It was one idiot. Fuck him. I don't like that we're even talking about him because, there's so much good things happening in the city. So I don't care if they hang him in front of MSG. Now Boston has been notorious. We actually had a conversation about this a couple pods back. There was a baseball player who had in his contract, you could trade me anywhere but Boston, just because of how bad the racial epithets was. Bill Russell talks about it often as well. I know Utah is infamous for that. going to Russell Westbrook. You know what? Something I will say, a lot of times, that person is lucky because, a lot of times players aren't walking with that many people to the back of the locker room. They're hobbled up. They may have one or two people limping back with him. He had like 7 people, a bunch of trainers with him. So that could have went a totally different way had this been another game, another situation. But I also feel like he knew that too. People
remember courtside Karen who cussed out LeBron and with the husband, she tried to fight. She literally tried to fight like this little white lady tried to fight LeBron, talking about don't fucking talk to my husband that way. And LeBron had to tell her to sit your ass down.
Now, see that is entertaining.
That's alpha male energy, Jesse. That's for you. You don't know what beta male. When a guy tells somebody yelling at, like when LeBron tells her to sit ass, that's alpha male energy right there. You don't sit there and cuss me out. Yes.
No, that was some good shit talking. And she was standing up for her man. That ain't got nothing to do with him. She like, yo, don't talk to my man like that. That's good back and forth. That's good, healthy.
LeBron told her to sit her ass down. She got escorted out of the stadium.
Yeah, spitting on people, and then he threw popcorn, and it looked like he threw the whole box of popcorn. Like
he just kind of dumped it on him. First of all,
and then he let the bucket go because I saw something red fall down too.
Yeah,
that's
he did. I didn't see that.
Yeah, I mean, and Philly fans are also known for being that type of crowd as well.
Yeah, they booed Santa Claus.
Nah, but there should be consequences for like people who do shit like that. I'm sorry. Because why are you
as a big brother, it's like, why are you throwing popcorn, brother?
Right.
Also, I will say though that Trae Young, he did have an option to press charges. It's because, like you said, spitting is an assault. I read that he just decided not to pursue the charge.
That's because he's gonna take it out on the Knicks. That's
but shout out to the other Knicks players who had the creative way to get into his head. They were bringing birds out because they said that Trae Young is scared of birds. So they had like pictures of birds. Someone also wrote a chant that they were trying to get going. I don't think it happened, but they were supposed to be chanting Trae is balding. Trae is balding. So maybe that'll come back in game 5. We'll see. So shout out to the innovative shit talkers.
Jesse, what you were saying? I'm sorry. I cut you off before. I apologize.
If you know the way my brain works, I forgot.
I gotta stop doing. That's me. I gotta stop. I gotta be a better point guard than doing that. But yeah. These Knicks fans are unruly. I mean, they don't act like they've been there before. They're one playoff game. Now they're spitting on folks. They're talking about people who are balding. I feel attacked by that. Go ahead, Jesse.
I'm just saying it was one person. They don't count. Like they don't speak for the whole Knicks unit.
All right, when Trae Young,
99% of us are not like that.
When Trae Young dropped 50,
listen, and there was a couple things because I feel like the spit was like maybe 1 or 2 inches away from hitting 50's girl, and he would have had a bigger problem on his hand at that point.
Yep.
So it's like he wasn't thinking at all. Because you can't suspend 50 Cent for game 3 of the playoffs. He's not playing. He's not suiting up. He's going to get you right in your mouth, pause. And then this is going to be a whole different scenario for you.
I like that.
Speaking of 50 Cent, did y'all see, and this is the last thing, we're going to do moral of the story. Did y'all see Vivica Fox confess her love, saying 50 is the love of her life?
No.
Recently, yeah. It was like in an interview, I think on Vlad TV, said she was all crying, saying 50 Cent was the love of her life. And then it was. And will always be the love. And she's like, he'll always be the love of my life. And then his girlfriend was like, posted in the comment section, like the emoji. I think it's the same girl. I think a Cuban link or whatever. And she posted the violin in the sad face emoji. And Vivica was like, was like, don't get nervous, whatever. I'm like, and 50 Cent was like, I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad. Shout out to 50 Cent just being a G at all times and a good businessman. But I just brought that to had to bring that to y'all attention. That was funny. All right, y'all. Hey, we've been on here. I appreciate y'all sticking with us. I know some folks that they said they just chimed in. Hey, catch us on playback. Make sure you click the link for those who are not subscribe. I appreciate those who were watching us throughout this episode. And shout out to Giovanni. Giovanni's birthday is either this week or it's coming up. It's this week.
Hey.
Right?
It's not. Was it today?
No, I didn't get a Facebook notification.
No, me neither. So it can't be today. Facebook didn't tell me so.
Facebook didn't tell me, so you ain't got a birthday. So I hope it wasn't today. But either way, Giovanni is she's outliving her best life, on her vacation as she let us know. So shout out to Giovanni. And Giovanni actually had a dope session where she talked about some women empowerment, and she's how she's doing her just do her website. So y'all go check that out. Y'all check out Alan's Instagram and his Twitter with his Knicks commentary and his sports commentary. Some of the hilarity. He is a LeBron hater, so you just have to forgive him for that. Later on this evening, the NBA also does need to look into how LeBron is being treated on the court, because he's also being assaulted as well. If Trae Young,
and
he said what?
He's also traveling and setting moving screens. But we'll get into that.
I'm sorry, I'm about to mute your mic for the first time. Yes, and also Jesse. Shout out to Jesse, out there on her gram. Watch out for her original content, and she don't do subtitles anymore. So I just kind of nod and just be proud and just be like, I just wait for Jesse's mama to slap her in her skits. That's it. That's all I know. That's the universal language for get her ass.
Look, people got mixed reviews on that. Some people love it. Some people are like, oh my gosh, how could you? Why are you doing that? So she gonna smack me sometimes. Just not all the time. We don't want to get people too mad.
Screw them. Hey, let's I just found out a new feature on here. I'll do that for next time. Hey, as always, we want to make sure. Hey, May, we did a lot of stuff for Mental Health Awareness Month. The crisis hotline. It's gonna be something that we continue to do, so it doesn't just stop there. Jesse, can you read that number for the folks, please?
Of course, the mental health hotline is 1-800-273-8255, and they are available 24 hours. And you can also text MHA to 741-741.
Word. All right, so let's hit it to the moral of the story, folks. And I'm gonna let's start with you, A. A, start with you. You got the A, who's been sick, flu game, dropping points. Not like Julius Randle. I'll say dropping points like D Rose coming in the clutch. I appreciate you, brother. I love you for that. I appreciate you coming through, and even though you're sick, and get well soon, brother. Here you go. Moral of the story.
Appreciate you, TJ. I really don't have too much of the moral of the story, to keep it honest with you. My moral of the story is I won't celebrate until the confetti rains down. We need 3 more wins from the Knicks. Also, because I definitely forgot about this. Y'all enjoy your holiday weekend. Stay safe. Take care of your mind, body, and soul. And peace and love.
Word. Yeah, man. And make sure you get better. How did you get sick? I don't want to, your personal life, whatever.
How did I get sick? I can tell you how I got sick. So last week, right?
Out here in these streets.
So no. So last week, right? I got happy. It was getting hot outside, so I flipped on the AC. My dumb ass forgot to turn the AC off. It was like 65, and I'm sleeping under the whole night. So anytime that happens, I'm getting sick. Here comes snuffle.
Look like the AC is affecting the internet, because you chopped up a little bit. You good?
I'm good. I don't know. Mine was smooth. I don't know. But I slept in the AC.
Just say internet was you forgot to put a cord in the internet
It was giving very much Android vibes.
We're not going to do.
Well, ironically, I'm on an iMac, so
okay.
You're gonna have to take that up with the Apple people. But listen, I slept under the AC all night long, and so anytime I do that, especially coming off into a new season, my sinuses act up for a little bit. But I got a lot of ginger, I got a lot of lemon, I got some citrus, so I should be good by Sunday. I hope.
All right. Jesse, your moral of the story, please, ma'am.
My moral of the story is to just do your shit. Like, just do what makes you happy. Do what's best for you and your life and your partner and your friendships. And girls, ladies, if we're gonna have a hot girl summer, which we are, because outside is open. Let's do it. Let's just do it safely. Just protect ourselves and fuck these niggas. No, I'm just joking. We love y'all.
She's not joking. She says it all the time. She's not joking when she says that. And I think she was saying that about me. And she was talking to Tessa. Tessa, don't listen to her. You come home, just maybe saying some flagrant shit on this podcast. And I'm just sick of it. All right. Let's where's my all right. My moral of the story is this. Listen, fellas, the summer is coming, right? Get yourself right. Focus on you. Okay. And if these women out here want to be out here in these streets and doing whatever they want to do, and they don't want to listen to no man, they don't need no man or whatever, let them go. Because guess what? Your queen with a K, your queen is going to appear, and God has got somebody special just for you. Even though Tessa and I we had to break up, it's all right. You just never know. You never know what can happen, down the road. And I will say this, that y'all definitely be safe. Shout out to all of my podcast co-host, Alan, who was sick. Giovanni was out. Jesse is literally holding it down with like four or five kids and starting five while she's on the podcast. I know she's being modest, but this is a serious thing that's going on right now. So, I appreciate their dedication. Okay. And I appreciate them going through. You said what?
I said I don't know where you got the other two kids from. There's three kids.
I was trying to pad your stats. But we appreciate each and every one of you tuning into the Soapboxx Podcast. We are growing organically, as we said. So we appreciate everything that you do for us. Make sure you follow, subscribe, all that good stuff. So for Giovanni, for Alan, for Jess A, we are the Soapboxx Podcast. Ladies, Tessa, if you hear me, I'm here when you want to come home. Peace. We're out.
Tell them what we talking about. Tell them what we talking about. Anything. Welcome to the Soapboxx. Welcome to the Soapboxx.